You will now have an amazing teaching model to teach your dog control for any dog sport. You'll be able to prove through any tough distraction. Notice the confidence this dog is showing. Distraction training is a game. She's not afraid to fail. She's eager to demonstrate her understanding of the criteria. She's learned holding position in a crate is associated with a great deal of reinforcement. Another great skill that will improve is your dog's distance control. Suddenly, your dog will have the drive to move away from you when you want to teach go-outs for obedience or distance work in agility. Crate games are a great way to add motivational value to any agility obstacle. By adding the obstacle between the crate and the reinforcement, you will get a transfer of value, thus building motivational value for the obstacle itself. You will now have a highly motivational way to end any training session. Sending your dog to his crate will no longer be a punisher. You may be just sending him in there in order to call him right back out for another great round of crate games. Agility dogs working to improve their contact performance can gain a clearer understanding of the nose target criteria. This is ideal for the dogs that try to use their front paws when they should be targeting with their nose. With fluency in crate games, your agility dog will have a much clearer understanding of how to set himself up for difficult approaches into tunnels, weave pulls, or onto contact obstacles. Through crate games, your dog will learn how reinforcing it is to offer behaviors without prompts or lures from you. This will allow you to shape many other behaviors throughout your dog's entire life. For the very high drive or easily aroused dogs, like my boy Buzzy, crate games give you a brilliant model to teach impulse control. Once a dog has mastered crate games, you can transfer this great control to many other areas of competition. Your dog can now learn he does not have to make eye contact with you to earn his reinforcement. This is a great foundation for out-of-sight sit-stays for obedience, or to teach your agility dog to focus on the first jump and not look at you before you release him at the start line. As an instructor, I love to use crate games to observe my students' ability to maintain criteria. If a person struggles with the criteria of crate games, I know they're going to have a real battle on their hands when working on more complex behaviors, such as agility contacts or advanced obedience behaviors. Begin stage 1 of crate games, make sure you have enough time to work all the way up to the you're out, you're in game found in stage 3. That should take no more than an hour or so of your time. You could even break that up into many sessions spread out over 2 or 3 hours. However, it's important that your dog never be allowed out of the crate during this time. Therefore, it's also important that you've allowed your dog an opportunity to relieve himself before you ever start the game. The equipment that we're going to need for crate games. First of all, outrageously desirable treats. Let your dog tell you what his highest value rewards are. It could be chicken or liver or steak or cheese. Maybe there's a favorite treat that he likes that you can buy from the store. Save those special treats to use in crate games. Make sure that they're easy to chew up, that they're not going to crumble, that he can swallow them very quickly. The value and excitement that the dog has for those rewards, it's going to be transferred into the crate games themselves, so that when the dog sees his crate, he's just going to want to drive in and play. Number 2, you want to make sure you have a hungry dog, so play this game at a mealtime. That way he will be excited when he gets a treat. Number 3, a hard-sided or a wire crate, and one with little or no bedding inside. So if we were to use a crate like this with a big bulky bed inside, when you go to give the cookie, the dog's going to be sniffing around, maybe think he dropped a crumb. The transition between each repetition of giving a cookie is going to be long and drawn out. You don't want to start the game with a soft-sided crate. I know lots of us love these crates for when we're traveling, but when you're initially starting the game, they do create a couple problems. Number 1, we want to be able to open and close the door very quickly. So something that has a door that we can just latch and unlatch, the criteria is very black and white for the dog. We can close the door when they're acting inappropriately. Something like this crate, when we're trying to close the door, we can't get it done quite so quickly. So the criteria becomes a little gray for the dog. The other problem with the soft-sided crate is when we move on into the later stages of crate games, the dog's paws can flop out of the door when they're in a down if the door is open, and it makes it a lot more difficult for you to maintain criteria of don't break the plane of the door. All right? So, either one of these crates, a wire crate or a hard shell crate. If you're using a wire crate, what I like to do is just doctor it up a little bit so it's a little safer for the dog. Get this pipe insulation that you can get at any hardware store, put it along the top. That way when your dog flies in, they're not going to hurt their back. You can even roll it back and tape it there so that it's easier to close the door. Also, you can see here that when the dogs are racing in or racing out, their toes could get caught in the wire down here at the bottom. So what I like to do is I like to put some duct tape along the bottom of the crate, so that protects the dog's paws. And I might put a couple layers of that on there so that the dogs can run in and out quite safely. All right, so you've got your crate, you've got your hungry dog, you've got your desirable treats. Now let's talk about the criteria of your crate games.